Hi, second graders. It's Mrs. Cavanis here with Module 3, Lesson 15 today. All right, let's get started. Make sure you push pause to get your name and the date at the top. And when you're ready to go, push play. All right, pencils come in boxes of 10. So picture a box full of pencils, and there's 10 pencils in each box, kind of like our big bundles of straws that we were talking about, and there were 10 in each bundle. So these pencil boxes have 10 in each box. And then we have 14 boxes of these pencils. How many pencils are there in all is our question. Explain your answer using words, pictures, or numbers. So we can explain our answer using any of those methods. I think that the way that I'm going to explain it with you is with pictures because I don't know, I think pictures are kind of a nice way for you to see what's going on with the pencil boxes. So we know we have 14 boxes. So let's draw 14 rectangles. And each rectangle can represent one of the boxes of pencils. So go ahead and start drawing 14 rectangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to draw mine in rows of 5 so that it is easy to organize and keep track of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, 2 rows of 5 is 10. And then I'm going to do a third row that's almost 5, but not quite. Just need 14, not 15. All right, there are 14 boxes of pencils right here. And now we know there are 10 pencils in each box. So what should I write on each of those rectangles? We're going to write a 10 on each box of pencils to show us that there are 10 pencils inside each of those boxes. Okay, so our question is, how many pencils are there in all? So now, what should we count by to add up all of those pencils? Should we count by ones, tens, hundreds? What should we count by? Well, since there's a 10 on each box, we should count by tens. So you use your voice and you count out loud with me. Let's count by tens and see how many pencils there are. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 110, 120, 130, 140. Okay, so 140 pencils in all. Now, I've been teaching you guys a trick when you hear 14 tens. So 14 boxes with 10 in each box is the same as 14 tens. Remember my trick for how to write something that you hear when you hear 14 tens is that you take that number 14 and where you hear the word tens, you add a 0 on the end. So 14 tens would be 140 using that trick, which we just counted by tens, and it does equal 140. So now we need to write a sentence to answer the problem. So the question was, how many pencils are there in all? So we are going to say there, with a capital at the beginning of our sentence, there are 140 pencils in all, with a period at the end of our sentence. Okay, let's go on to number 2. The principal wants to have 300 pencils for the second graders for October, November, and December. How many more boxes of pencils does he need? Explain your answer using words, pictures, or numbers. Now, every year, the kids get kind of confused when we read this one when we do it together in class. They didn't really word it so great, so you're not quite sure what they're asking. So what they're saying here is we already have 140 pencils, and the principal wants to have 300 in all. So if he already has 140, how many more does he need to equal 300 pencils for his second graders? So if we already have 140, there's lots of different ways to do this. This is how I'm going to do it. If we already have 140, it says, how many more boxes of pencils does he need? Well, we know that boxes come as tens, so we're going to need to say, well, if we already have this stack of 140 pencils and we need to have 300, how many more boxes of pencils does he need? So we need to count by tens to figure out how many boxes he needs. They don't want to know just how many single pencils. They want to know how many boxes of pencils more that he needs. So if we already have 140, let's count by tens and see how many more boxes to get to 300. So 140 and 10 more would be 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250, 260, 270, 280, 290. And what comes after 290 if you're counting by tens? 300, which is exactly what we were trying to get to. So we were at 140, we're trying to get to 300. We counted by tens. So if we already had 140, let's see how many boxes it took to get to 300. It took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 more boxes of pencils is what he needs because it took us 16 tens to get up to 300. So that would equal 300. All right, so how do we answer this in a sentence? It says, how many more boxes of pencils does he need? He needs, and we counted 16 boxes of 10, so he needs 16 more boxes of pencils. I'm going to put a period at the end of my sentence. So, great job. That's it for the front of problem set 15. Let's pancake flip it over to the back side. And we have 2 more questions. Okay, so now you have to remember that information from the first 2 problems to answer these next 2 problems. So remember that we have 140 pencils and the principal wants to have 300. So we decided he needs to buy 16 more boxes of pencils to have the 300 that he needs. So now they're going to tell you he found 7 boxes in the supply closet and 4 boxes in a desk drawer. So the principal went looking through the school. He knows he needs 16 more boxes of pencils, and he finds 7 in the closet and he finds 4 in the desk. Now does he have what he wants for the second graders? So we can explain again using words, pictures, or numbers. So I'm going to still go with pictures because that's what I've been doing on the last 2. So we know he needs 16 more boxes. So I'm going to draw our 16 boxes he needs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's 2 rows of 5? 10. 3 rows of 5 is 15. And he needs 16 boxes. So here's the 16 boxes that he needs. Now what we're going to do is when he found these other boxes, we're going to cross them off and see if he found enough boxes to have the 16 that he needs. So he found 7 boxes in the supply closet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so he found that many. And then he found 4 in a desk drawer. So I'm just going to put a line sideways through there so I know that these are different ones that he found. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the desk drawer. So did he find enough, or does he still have more boxes that he needs to have the 300 pencils? We didn't cross off these guys, so that's how many he still needs to have the 16 boxes. So our question was, now does he have what he wants for the second graders? So no. And then I'm going to do a comma because I'm going to explain why not. So no, he still needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's still 5 more boxes he needs. No, he still needs 5 more boxes. And then period at the end. Okay, and the last one for the problem set, how many boxes of pencils do you think your class will need for January, February, March, and April. How many pencils is that? Explain your answers using words, pictures, or numbers. Well, let's think about that. So that's 4 months they're asking you for your class. And most of our classes have about 25 kids in them. So if we're going to say 25 kids and pencils come in boxes of 10, 10, 20, would 2 boxes be enough for a class of 25 kids? It would not. That would only be 10, 20. So how many boxes would we need to have enough for each student to have a pencil? 10, 20, 30. We would need 3 boxes. That would still give us a couple pencils left over, but we would need 3 boxes for each student to have a pencil. So let's assume that every student needs a pencil each month, okay? So if we need 3 boxes of pencils, okay, for January, I'm going to put a J for January. So that's 3 boxes of pencils, 10, 20, 30 pencils for January. And then we have February. So let's see, 3 boxes of pencils for F for February. Okay. And then the other month is March. So here's 3 more boxes of pencils. So we had 30 pencils for March for an M. And the last one is April. So let's say we need 3 boxes of pencils for A for April, okay? So they asked us about these 4 months, so January, February, March, and April. And we're gonna guess that we probably need about 3 boxes of pencils per month so that each student could have a new pencil for the month, okay? So how many boxes of pencils do you think your class would need? Well, this is what we decided is how many boxes of pencils we would need. So let's count by 3s to see how many boxes that is in all. So 3, 6, 9, 12. That's 12 boxes of pencils. So how many boxes of pencils do you think your class will need? I think my class will need 12 boxes of pencils, okay? And then there's another question too. It says, how many pencils is that? Okay, well, how many are in each box? How many pencils are in each of those boxes? We know there are 10 pencils in each of these boxes. So now let's count by 10s and see how many pencils that is. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. That is 120 pencils. And remember my trick that if you hear 12 tens, you know that you just add a 0 to the end of the 12. So if we know there's 12 boxes of 10, that's the same as 12 tens. And 12 with a 0 on the end, 12 tens is 120. So that's my guess for how many pencils that we would need for our classes for January, February, March, and April. Okay, and that concludes today's problem set. Now, word problems are sometimes frustrating for kids. I know that you really have to make your brain think to figure out word problems, but they're really important because word problems are the kind of math that you use in your everyday life for the rest of your life. You will always figure out word problems forever because that's the kind of math that you just use when you just walk around your normal life. So you only have for your homework page 3 problems to worry about. There is no back on your homework page. It is just these 3 problems. And look, pencils come in boxes of 10, just like the problem set problems we just did, okay? So these are almost exactly like the ones we just did together, except a little bit different. So how many boxes should Erica buy if she needs 127 pencils? So you need to figure out how many boxes of 10 she would need to have enough pencils. You can draw a picture like I did, and then write a sentence. How many pencils will Erica have left over after she gets what she needs out of the boxes? So here you're going to figure out how many boxes she needs to buy. And then this question is, after she buys that many boxes, is she going to have some extra pencils left over, or is she going to have exactly 127 pencils? How many more pencils does she need to have 200 pencils? So you're going to take this number, whatever her pencils added up to for these boxes, and figure out how many more she would need to have 200 pencils. Okay, so I have faith in you. You can figure those out. 3 problems to figure out today. Just try your best, draw a picture, and answer with a sentence. Okay, thank you for joining me for math today, and I'll see you next time for problem set 16. Goodbye.